This conference will now be recorded.
So as discussed yesterday, we will be starting with the basics of, I would say, Cypress installations and Cypress setup. Okay, so I hope everyone, if they have not installed this two this thing, right? One is Node.js and second is VS Code. Okay, I would request everyone to kind of install this. Okay, irrespective if you are using Windows or if you are using Mac, correct? In both, you will be able to have this ready, and after that, we will start with the initial setup which is required in terms of Cypress. You can say creations of for installation, setting up all the folder structures, everything. Okay, so today we are going to use VS Code as our editor. Okay, so I would request everyone, if you guys are facing any issue in these two steps, okay, after the session you can like stay on the call and let me know if you guys are any issues with respect to installations or setup. Okay, I'll repeat the process, okay, like the one who were not present yesterday. So you just need to navigate, like you need to go to you can say the website which is Node.js actual this thing. Okay, and over there you just need to kind of if you are using .exe or .ds file, right? If you are using Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever OS you are using, please select that and please click on download Node.js. Okay, I would request once it is done, I already inform you that to check whether it is installed successfully or not, you can just run a command called as node minus minus version. Okay, so this is the command node minus minus version. Okay, so you will get the version which is right now downloaded and configured into your machine. Okay, there is no requirement of setting up the environment variable. You might face those issues, so please make sure you are doing the installation from this actual, like usually you might get the issue of setting up the environment variable, like setting up the path, all those things. But if you are using Mac, you will not face any, like it is auto this thing. You don't need to require to set up any of the path in the environment variable or anything. Okay, next is what I wanted to convey is like the VS Code, guys. Okay, it's very straightforward process. You can go to their official website and please click on Windows. Okay, if you are having Mac, please click on Mac. Okay, so based on your OS, you can download. Once you download, you will see a screen like this, guys. Okay, you will see a screen like this. Okay, everyone. It will be basically it will look like this. Okay, so today I'm going from scratch, guys. I'll create a new you can say workspace, okay, all together. Okay, wherein we will obviously have the project from scratch. Okay, so for that what I can do, I can add like folder to the workspace. One option is that like you can have multiple project in the same workspace. Okay, that is possible. And if you want to have the complete new this thing, right? So for that what you can do, you can create a project. Okay, and you can open that particular project through VS Code. Okay, that's what the ideal process is. Okay, wherever you create your project, whether it is C drive, D drive, or let's say in any of the folder, okay, please make sure you open that whole project through VS Code. Okay, so usually what I usually recommend is you can do both the process as per your this thing. Okay, I can have the project over here, okay, and I can open that through VS Code. Okay, if I want, I can have my project over here also, and I can open that particular project through VS Code. Okay, so to do that, guys, you can just create a new folder. Okay, I'll just give the name as Cypress Automation. Okay, July 2024. Okay, I'm just giving this naming convention. saying Cypress automation July 2024. I'll just append this with capital B. So and once it is done, guys, what you need to do, you need to either add this to your workspace, current workspace what you have. Okay, you can have multiple projects like this. Okay, so if you want, you can have it like this, this particular view, or else if you want to have to open altogether new this thing, so you can just click on new window, and you can kind of start with your actual start setup, guys. Okay, both are fine as per your recommendation. Whatever you feel like easy, you can do the same process. Okay, so over here I will just click on open folder, and you can just select the folder which I just created. Okay, you can go to the desktop, my bad, you can go to this thing, and this is the one which I have created, guys. You just need to open this. Okay, uh, I would request guys to kind of unmute and speak up at any point if you guys are facing any issues, and if you are following the same step at the same time into your machine, that's also fine. You guys can kind of do that as well. And if you are facing issues with respect to setup or installation, you can unmute and kind of interrupt me in between, guys. Okay, so those who are, let's say, trying to follow the process at the same time, if you guys are facing any issues with respect to setup, installations, getting some exception error, right, please feel free to kind of ask your doubts or query. Okay, so please remember, in the VS Code, guys, you will see the obviously the menu bar with this particular option, which is commonly present for all the editors such as PyCharm, NetBeans, Edit Plus, whatever you are using. And once you are done with this, guys, you just need to open this into your terminal. So do a right click, or let's say click on terminal. Automatically your project path will be set up, and here you can kind of run your command. Okay, so to do this, guys, the first command what we need to do is npm init. Okay, the very first command what we need to run is npm init. Okay, so this command will uh, this command will set up the package.json into your particular folder. Okay, so step one is run npm init. Okay, this is the very first step which will be required to set up your project into your particular repo or particular folder wherever you are creating. Okay, so once you run this, you will see it will be kind of creating a package. Okay, package.json. Okay, so you just need to run this particular command which will help us to kind of create a package.json, guys. Okay, so here everyone can see the name of the package is, guys, by default it is considering v cypress automation. So if you want, don't if you don't want to change anything, right, please hit enter button. After that, it is keeping the version. If you want to specify some version, right, you can specify that particular version, such as 1.2.1, 1.3.1, something like that. If you want to add some description, right, this project is purely for cypress automation and so later on also you can update these, guys. And if you have some entry point, please provide that entry point. Otherwise it will select some command, sorry, it will select index.js or cypress.config.js, those as an entry point. So initially it is index.js, guys, unless and until cypress is installed. Okay, so prior to that, once Cypress is installed, this entry point will get updated. So these are the parameter in the form of attributes, basically, like in the package.json. Okay, over here you can specify some of the command which we are using for running our Cypress test cases. So these are the test command. You can hit enter. Then we have the git repo, guys. If you want to specify some repository URL which you want to specify, such as like whatever you have, you can specify the git repo. And if you have some keywords which you need to specify into your json, you can specify author license. And if everything is fine, click ok. So your file will be getting created with this format, guys. Okay, later on also this will keep on updating, guys. Don't worry. As and when we will kind of install various plugins, various third party dependencies, this way this part will keep on getting updated. Okay.
Uh, so,
So
uh, s- uh, s- yeah, sorry
yeah.
to interrupt, but this file means automatically it's get updated, or we have to also sometimes make changes to this package.json.
Not, no, you don't require to touch this file. Once it is created, it is automatically getting updated every time whenever you install third party plugin. You don't need to touch this file unless
Okay.
and until you require
Okay.
some specific command which you need to kind of save and try to run, right? Over here you can see like test is a command actually. Okay, so here I
Hmm.
can specify the complete command, such as some of the command usually we have like this, like npx cypress run, right? So if I
Hmm.
want to start store this value in some variable or something, that part is handled with the help of script. Okay, that we can see later on.
Okay. So means the example you will show, right, whenever we are update like installing any third party tool, or we are using that, you said this gets updated. So if we
This
could get
get
an
updated.
example later on, yeah, I mean whenever we can.
Yes, yes. So ideally, what happens here, we have something called as dependency and dev dependency. These two type of attribute will be getting created, which will be in the form of JSON, like script only. And
Hmm.
it here, I'll show you once we have like install Cypress. So now I'm going to download Cypress, guys. Okay, so I showed you both the this thing. I showed you the GitHub this thing also. Okay, like yesterday, wherein you can kind of refer to the GitHub, or else you can go to their official website also, where you will see the option of npm install Cypress. So you can download both the version, guys. Whatever you feel like is okay for you guys, you can refer both, guys. If you want to have the zip file and then extract and perform or add that particular file into your respective repo, project repo, or second option is you can copy this command and run this simple. Okay, so this is the simple approach, guys. Usually we like almost all the this thing, right? We are following the same approach, that is npm install cypress hyphen hyphen save minus dev. Okay, so this approach will help us to install and set up the Cypress into your local machine. Okay, so right now you saw that we are having only which file, guys? Package.json. Okay, now I'm running one more command, second command. Okay, so this is the second command. What is that? npm install cypress hyphen hyphen save hyphen dev. Hyphen hyphen save hyphen dev is optional, guys. If you want to give it, give it, otherwise that's fine. Okay, so once you trigger this, it will go to node package manager, and over there it will search for Cypress. Whatever Cypress related file will be present, okay, it will get added into your this particular repo, that is v cypress automation July 2024. Okay, so I will update the second step, guys. Step 2 is run this command. Okay, so the first step is run this, second is this. Actually, prior to this is I will just mention one prerequisite so that everyone are clear. Create a folder into your C drive, wherever, into your local machine. Okay, and open that via VS Code. Okay, so this is the prerequisite. I would request everyone to use this, and you should be on same terminal, guys. Okay, you should be on same path. Okay, if you are on same this thing path, then only Cypress will get added installed successfully, guys. Okay, so now what you saw, that we have got one node module, guys. Node module is having lot of subfolder, this many subfolder, guys, and these are all actually like JS file, guys. Okay, so these are basically read only code which are present over here, guys. Okay, please understand this. Okay, Okay, let us see what is the issue. Okay, so next command is npx cypress open. Okay, npx cypress open. So let me write down this. Okay, let me do one thing, guys. Okay, I'll perform one quick this thing. I have installed multiple time. That's the reason. Okay, so let me do one quick activity over here. Okay, let me open this in. So you will not face this issue, guys. The reason is you will be doing it for the first time, right? So you will not face those this type of issue. Okay, so what I'll do, um, I'll copy this node module. Okay, I'll copy this node module, only node module, guys. Okay, so I'll copy this. Okay, and I'll go to our project which we created today, and over here I'll replace it. Okay, it will replace it. So once it is replacing, right, whatever required dependency is there, right, with respect to Cypress node module, it will get overwrite. Okay, so once it got overwrite, we will be able to kind of open the Cypress this thing, like this command which is not working right now, right? So you will be able to run this particular command. Okay, so what I have is, like, I have obviously installed multiple times the same Cypress node module every time, right? So that's the reason I'm facing this particular issue. Okay, now I'll refresh this. Okay, I'll refresh this, and now let me kill this terminal and open this terminal. Okay, and over here I can just write npx cypress open. Okay, so once you open this Cypress, okay, you will have a message saying that it is opening for the first time, all those message. Okay, so let me see what is the issue. Npx Cypress open. Okay, I think there is some issue with the space, guys. Okay, so let me see if I can uh, clear some of the spaces. Just a second, guys. Okay, so I'm facing some space issue, guys. Okay, let me close uh, and restart again. I've restarted VS Code, guys. Okay, let me open the folder which we have created today in our recent desktop, GitHub, and this is the one which we created. Open, correct, clear, npx. Let us load if everything is getting loaded. Yes, perfect. Npx Cypress, open. So everyone are clear. Actually, the reason is like I have been configuring this multiple time. That's the issue which we got right. So everyone are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what we will see is like over here you will see the version. Okay, and if you notice carefully, the version is 13.13.1. Okay, here you will refer to the documentation. From here directly you will navigate to their actual documentation, wherein you can refer what exact configuration setup is required. So you can kind of go to that particular respect. So if you want to, let's say, understand how we need to write our first test case, so you can just click on that. You will navigate to a section, a blog basically, where it will refer to how to write, how to do the setup. Here you will see the, you might see like you need to sign in, guys. So this particular section is purely for, you can say, Cypress cloud actually. Okay, so with one user it is free, that is like 14-day trial or something. Like obviously if you add some more this thing, invite more people, then it is chargeable, guys. Okay, so these are the section with respect to upgrades, documentation, and you can log in with your personal Gmail address. Okay, now moving to second thing, that is E2E testing and component testing. E2E testing is purely for, you can say, the actual QA guys. Okay, like QA architect, QA people, QA senior QA, whoever is kind of doing the functional API, whatever type of testing, it will be considered under E2E section. Okay, if there is some you can say unit testing which needs to be done, which needs to be performed, so at that time we might refer to this component testing section. Okay, otherwise what we will have is we will purely work on E2E section. Okay, if you want to understand the difference between E2E and component, guys, here you will get the idea. In E2E testing, what we do, we usually kind of do all the let's say the assertion as well. Okay, you can see this code is basically for the assertion. Okay, like we have the assertions, all those things. But in this case, what we are focusing on, we are kind of focusing only on the individual component, guys. Okay, individual component what has been created. Okay, but here we will do the complete workflow. If you notice carefully, we will visit to the URL, we will kind of get that particular CSS locator, we will try to do the assertion saying that it is visible or not, and then we will perform a click. Okay, and over here what you are doing, you are trying to check only that particular button, that is cross button, is available or not, whether we are able to press or not. That's it. So over here you will have the component called cy.mount, which is purely for the developers thing. Okay, like the unit test cases. And here we will have the command using cy.visit. So every action will be done with the help of cy.visit. Okay, so that's the key difference what like available between component and the E2E. So once you click on E2E, guys, in the back there will be some files getting generated, guys. Okay, so let me click on E2E. Okay, so you can see total 4 files, which is cypress.config.js, cypress support e2e.js, and all this file will have some content, guys. Okay, all this file will have some content. Okay, which is kind of generated automatically. Okay, and now once this will be like the default folder structure what Cypress is providing. Okay, so what you need to do, you just need to if you want to override, you can do override, but after clicking continue you can go to this particular VS code and update the respective folders and everything. Okay, That's what we usually do. So these are the four file which is getting generated in the back, and just click on continue. Okay, so over here you will be able to see sometime two browsers, sometime three browser. That depends upon the installation. Okay, like in locally how many browser you have installed actually. Okay, if you have multiple browser installed locally, right, you will be able to see. And with respect to browser support, you can go to their official page and check the number of browser, because obviously there are some UI headless browser which are not shown over here. You just need to mention the browser name while running your test case. Okay, so right now most popularly is use actually Chrome browser. Okay, so wherein you can load all your test case into your Chrome browser. Okay, so once you click on Chrome, guys, you will be seeing some spec file will be getting generated. Okay, so this is the page you will be seeing, and over here you will see an option called as scaffold example. Okay, so scaffold example is nothing but Cypress is having one example website, guys. Okay, so example.cypress.io. So this is the file which is sorry, this is a URL which is like a dummy URL which has been created for practice purpose, guys. Okay, so you will be able to see some of the basic example on this. Okay, so like the command you can see like check, uncheck, right click, dbl click, double click. Okay, all these commands. So how we are using this command into our Cypress this thing. Okay, we have various you can say details about the respective command if you want to kind of go through. So you can just go to example.cypress.io, and obviously lot of commands which we will be using into our test cases will be visible over here. Okay, if you want more detail you can go to doc.cypress.io, wherein you will be obviously going through the detail about various things actually in this section as well. Okay, so as I mentioned yesterday, with respect to documentation you have lot of things to refer, guys. You will not get stuck at any point of time. Like if you stuck as well, it will be hardly like within like 30 minutes, 15 minutes you will be able to crack that particular scenario also. Like if you got stuck in, let's say, upload, download, you are not able to click on browse button, you are not able to close the window, all those type of scenario, it will not take that much amount of time, guys, because of the documentation what they have provided. Okay, so till here anybody has any query, doubt, questions, guys, you can unmute and speak up.
The files means showed under the like the package.json. There are parallel files that are automatically generated, right? So actually, I saw that in interview they are asking questions around those files. Means
Mhm.
uh, like what does this ask? Like for example, what does this file do? That file do? What is the node
Correct.
modules and what does it do? What is config? Like that questions.
Okay, so let me write that as well. Step 3 I'll refer, guys. Npx Cypress open. Okay, so this is the third command which we did. Okay, step 4 will be setup. I mean setup as in all the files and folder structure of Cypress. Okay, I'll explain you that as well. Folder structure. So now we will go step by step. Okay, so the first thing what we have is Cypress. Okay, the first folder. Okay, what we have is Cypress. Okay, in Cypress, what usually Cypress contains? Okay, Cypress usually contains various like your all your test cases, plugin support, your data files, your screenshots, your videos. You can consider custom command, whatever command we will be writing, right? So those in Cypress is called as the custom command. Okay. And if you are following BDD structure, right, BDD styles of writing, you will have feature files. Okay, which is obviously part of all test case only, guys. Okay, all, when I say all test case, it can be in POM model, it can be in BDD model, whatever, right? So but still I am writing it feature file, step dev. Okay. And there is one thing, guys, in data file I have covered almost like JSON, if it is CSV, if it is .xlsx. Okay, if it is .txt. Okay, if it is .pdf, .jpg, whatever you want, like .png, all type of file is actually supported, and it will be getting added into your data file section. Okay, so this is about the Cypress folder. Okay, Cypress folder. So what Cypress folder contains? Cypress folder contains, you can say, all the end-to-end test cases. Basically, we call this as E2E test cases, guys. Okay, all E2E test cases. Then we have the plugin support. Plugin support, when I say, guys, because Cypress is not having direct support for various things actually. Okay, Cypress is not having support for XPath. Cypress is not having direct support for iframes. Cypress is not having direct support for like XLSX files, right? So we need to download few plugins. Okay, I'll show their official page as well, where where that plugins are mentioned, and once you download, you will be able to you will be able to use those respective plugins. Okay, now coming to second part is, like, in Cypress we have something called as node modules. Okay, can anybody explain me what is node modules? Yes. And when this node module got added, which command I ran, and after that node module got added?
After npm install Cypress, that node module got installed.
Correct. So what you think? What does node module will contain?
Maybe it is referring to related to all Cypress related something.
Perfect. So
All
all
the
the
dependency.
dependence which is required by Cypress tool. That's it. Okay, like required by Cypress tool, guys. And the first time when you set up, guys, it will have the default setup. Okay, default setup, guys. Okay, now inside node module, if you are saying, let's say, around 100 folder, or let's say whatever it is, right? So those 100 folder will remain constant, whoever is doing the download for the first time, and it is specific to the version which we have done, guys. Okay, now today we have done with the version, let's say, 13.1, right? So if tomorrow, if somebody is doing with 13.13.2 or 13.12, guys, whatever it is, right? So what will happen, this folder might be getting count by 101 also, guys. Okay, so these folders will keep on updating, and these folders are available on the official page of GitHub as well. Is it clear, everyone? What does node module contain? Node module will keep on updating, guys. It will keep on updating. Okay, depending upon the plugins which you install. So if you install this plugin, automatically there will be node module which is specific to XPath. There will be node module which will be specific to iframe. So this node module contains some dummy, I mean, obviously the code, how we have the MVN repository, right? So this contains, let's say, camel case. In index.js, it will have the code for camel case logic, right? And in package.json, whatever, whoever is developed, right, you will see their official email address. This is the Gmail address of them, right? So whoever has discovered or created this dependency. Okay, in case dot this thing, you will see again in package.json, you will see the person who is the owner of this particular, let's say, caseless logic, right? So all these details is provided in the respective folder structure, guys. Okay, this is the TS, guys. Okay, who wants to write TypeScript, they will follow this. Who are referring to JS, they will refer this. Okay, that's how it is given, guys. Okay, So it is obviously in the alphabetical order. Okay, and if you guys install tomorrow, let's say this is for xlsx, right? So if you want to see how this xlsx, this is the github repository, you this thing. So xlsx read js xlsb. So this is how the flowchart they have provided. But again, you, this is a code guys for reading the excel, for writing it in the excel, something like that. Okay, so these are the read-only files we will not be able to modify, and this is default available with all. Like usually we kind of put this inside git ignore guys. Okay, you don't need to upload this. You just need to upload Cypress and the respective files, that is cypress.config.js and package.json. Only this two file, and obviously there will be two more file which is getting generated, which we will see just now. So everyone are clear with node module. Next is cypress dot config dot js. So guys, what we did, we just downloaded one thing, that is Cypress. So you will see something like all the code which is required, right? Whatever we will be using into Cypress, right? We need to add over here. Okay, Cypress has got lot of attributes, okay, by default attributes. So at high level, I'll just show you some of the attributes. So these are attributes guides. What watch for file change. Then we have like a viewport, basically. Okay, so these are all attributes. Okay, so how to use that, how it will affect, or how we will be able to kind of use this into environment variable or something, right? All this code will be going under this actually. If you want to set up the base url guys, you need to set up over here only. So base url means you don't need to write it again like cy.visit the whole url. No, not, no need of writing that. What you will do, you can use the variable guys, base url, that's it. Okay, so the purpose of cypress.config, you can refer this config guys. Okay, I'll show the official page also, so wherein you will have the idea. And whenever you touch cypress config file guys, you might get error over here. Okay, so don't worry, just click on try again after you made the changes guys. Okay, because if Cypress identified that the Cypress config.js is not correct, or the format has been modified, anything guys, it will show the error on this page guys. Okay, please remember that. Okay, it will stop your execution right away. Okay, so now let me show the Cypress configuration actually. Okay, so basically for config file guys. Okay, so wherein there are a lot of parameter, I might not go through all parameter right now. Okay, later on we will talk about that. Okay, so everyone can see this global option over here. If everyone can see, these are the options guys. We have client certificate, include shadow dom, num tests kept in memory, port, reporter, right? Watch for file change. Then we have for timeout, these are some custom command which we can provide. And over here, whatever you see guys, these are the default timeout. Okay, so whoever asks you in Cypress what is the default time which is present, that is 4 seconds guys. Okay, and if there is a request timeout, that is 5 seconds. Okay, if you want to modify this value, you can do that guys. Okay, then we have something folder structure. If you want that you need to change the folder structure as per your wish, you can update that as well. Then we have screenshot related, video related, all these are the part of your cypress.config.js guys. Am I clear everyone? Anybody has any query, question for configuration guys? What does this index html file means? So this is actually a parameter which we can pass into our this particular vs code. Okay, so that's what configuration is all meant for guys. Everyone are clear? Anybody has any doubt, any questions?
So basically, so what do we do with this config file? Like we are trying to reset, trying to override something which is already existing in the Cypress or something.
Yes, correct. So basically, like I'll show you one simple example. Okay, wherein you will because any which ways we are trying to write our first test case. Okay, Cypress is having a default behavior of whenever do control S, right? Whenever you save your test case, Cypress is automatically triggering your run. Okay, you don't need to go and run actually. Okay, what Cypress is saying, as I like as soon as user click on control S, or let's say click on file save, right? Every time whenever a user is doing that, automatically I'll trigger my test case. But that is not the, you can say that what will happen if you do control S for 100 time irrelevant, like obviously you don't need to do, because some obviously some QA has a habit of doing control S after every line change, right? So what Cypress will do, Cypress will keep on running those test cases. Okay, so what exactly config you can do, you can change some configuration over here so that uh, on any changes it will not run unless and until user trigger it. Okay, so it will stop that scenario. Okay, and if you want to set up some base URL, because see we don't have the default value of base URL in Cypress right now, correct? So what will do, we will set up that URL, guys. Okay, so how to set up, just go there, go to your this thing, okay, respective E2E section, and in E2E section you can set the environment, guys. Okay, you can set the base URL. Okay, and this is the syntax like how we use in JSON, guys. Okay, so over here you just need to mention like google.com. This becomes my this thing, put comma. So what this value became the base URL. So every time you don't need to write google.com, you can just refer to base URL. Okay, whenever you are writing your Cypress test cases.
So you mean to say like properties file we do in Selenium. So you are
Yes,
giving it here and directly using that variable name, right? Instead of passing it.
correct. Yes, that's correct. Okay, you can create n number of JSON scenarios, guys. If you want some custom command, okay, that also you can do inside E2E. Okay, if you want to create some task, that is also possible. Okay, so task means like you need to create some method which will be global throughout your test case, that those type of method also you can create it over here. Okay, so I hope everyone are clear with cypress.config.json. If required, I'll share the URL also, guys. You can refer this URL, and this URL has, see guys, again I modified something. You saw this message got popped up saying that your config file is incorrect. So I need to click on try again. Understood? So whenever you modify something, you automatically this thing will get popped up. Okay, let me copy this. Just a second, guys. So this is the one, guys. You can refer this. You will have little bit obviously detail about what this configuration is all about. Okay, and the last file, as I mentioned, guys, what is that? Package.json. Package.json will contain all the dev dependency. Okay, dev dependency. So till now what we did, we have just downloaded what? Cypress dependency. We have downloaded Cypress. So you can see something called as over here. Let me refresh, guys. Let me do that setup again. Okay, so let me do, because one step is pending. That's the reason. If you guys see, we are stuck at one point. That is this one. Okay, let me open it again. So at this point we are stuck, right? Now here you will see some options on the left hand side, and obviously this two option. Okay, and here you can see the spec patterns basically. Okay, like if you want to change the spec pattern, you can change, but the default is you can change it inside your cypress.config.js, guys. Okay, so what spec pattern you want to follow? So Cypress is saying every time your extension should be whatever name you want, you can give it, but after that I need cy to be written, and after that you need to write either JS or either TS. Okay, this JSX is and TSX is also supported, guys. Okay, so these are the extensions by which you will save your file. Okay, now over here, guys, I'm creating a scaffold example spec. So what it will do, it will create some dummy test cases which we can run. Okay, so I'm clicking on this. So these are the test cases, guys, which is going to add into my project. I just need to click on OK, got it. So we are ready, guys. Okay, and if you want to run any of the test case now, just click on this test cases. It will start triggering your test case. So the code is already written inside this, guys. Okay, it is kind of going to example.cypress.io to do, and it is performing few checks. Okay, like it is visiting to the URL, it is kind of clicking on some of the options, and it is performing this check, guys. So guys, these are the dummy example which are provided by the Cypress, guys. Now you just need to go to VS Code and you just need to refresh it. Okay, you will see something called as E2E folder. Okay, and in under E2E folder you will see one called getting started. That is the test case which we just ran, guys. Okay, so this code got generated automatically, guys. We didn't do anything. Okay, I just clicked on scaffold example, and this many files, almost like 20 test case got generated. Is it clear, everyone? Anybody has any doubt, any query, any questions? So this all test cases obviously has some different purpose, guys. Obviously you can refer them. So let's say if you want to understand how the, let's say, files look, if you want to kind of check how the file is getting saved or something, how we need to, so these are, but obviously for this you need to understand the syntax and everything. So I won't say you can refer them, you can just go through them if required over this like next 3 to 4 days. But yes, we will create one more folder, guys, which will create which will have all our test cases. Okay, so what we did, we have already created files, so all this test case will be loaded into our specs. In Cypress we don't call this as a test case, guys. Okay, in Cypress we call this as a spec file. Okay, we usually call this as a spec file, guys. Everyone are clear what is spec file? This particular extension what we have created, that is called as spec file, guys. So previously, like prior to 10 version, guys, we used to have the extension as like action.spec.js, guys. Okay, but recently there is a change in the extension. It has updated to like .cy.js. Okay, if you create any .js file over there, right, it will not get added, guys. Okay, it will not reflect over here. Okay, and now from here, if you want to create your basic test case, okay, you can create that as well. You just need to click on new spec. Okay, you just need to create on new spec. Understood, everyone? Okay, so first of all, everyone are clear with this two folder how got generated? Anybody has any query question on this first? If yes, please unmute and
Like these two spec files, the spec file when you clicked on the already existing test cases, after running only they have loaded into this under the folder, or default when you selected only they had loaded.
I just click on scaffold example. You remember one pop-up
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
I clicked on that. After that, it got loaded. I don't need to run. Running was optional.
Okay, okay.
And now you will basically what we have is you will be able to I mean load all your Cypress test cases, guys. Okay, from this section also. Both ways are possible. If you are creating folder under E2E, guys, see one thing you need to remember, whatever activity we will do will be under E2E folder, guys. Okay, everything, whether it is creating new folder, creating new test case, everything will be under E2E section. Okay, now you will be able to create the test case from here also, and you will be able to create your test case from the VS code also. Okay, if you want to create folder over here, okay, like you can just create basic test. So what will happen, basic test will become our folder. Okay, after that I am writing the name as first test spec I can remove, guys. It is optional. So what it will do, it will create a folder under E2E, which the name of the folder will be basic test, and after that it will create a test case called as first test.cy.js. I can click on see this thing, okay, and it is showing some dummy this thing. If you want, you can update this, okay, or else you can just click on okay, run the specs. So what will happen, one folder will get created and this particular file will get added, okay. So it is running one command, guys, which is that command cy.visit. I'll explain you what is cy.visit, but this is how we usually create. And over here you can see that basic test got added. Inside basic test, my first test case got started, sorry, got added, guys. Everyone are clear how we did this? This I did via Cypress runner. This window is called as the Cypress runner, okay. Now we will obviously understand what is this all, what is describe, what is it, and all these things. But prior to that, I want, I mean, everyone are clear with whatever we have discussed so far, so that everyone are on same page, guys. Okay. So any query, questions, doubt, before going moving ahead, guys? Anybody has want to highlight anything, please, you can kind of ask over here. Okay, so I'll consider it as no. So inside basic test, guys, I'm creating one more file. So these are the options, guys, over here. One option over here, you can see plus new file. This is for folder. This is just for refreshing the folder structure. And this is, you can consider like you need to collapse or let's say expand or something. So you can do this with the help of this particular button. So we are working purely in Cypress, and now we are working in E2E. Inside E2E, we are working in basic test. So you just need to have your control till basic test, and after that you need to click on plus button. Okay, so now I'm writing one more test, guys, second test. Okay, what is the test? Second test dot cy.js. So this is the extension. As soon as you have the correct extension, you will see yellow popped up saying that JS file. Even if you do .js, guys, then also it will show popped up as yellow this thing. But the thing is, this particular file will not be showing up into your Cypress runner, because what Cypress is saying, if I don't see cy extension into your file, I'll not be able to show in my Cypress runner. Okay, that's the default behavior. Now over here, as soon as you write describe, guys, you will get an auto say IntelliSense or auto suggestion saying that describe. And what means basically describe in Cypress is, you can consider like the test scenario. So test scenario you can consider as equivalent to describe in Cypress. Okay, so describe means you need to describe your test scenario. Okay, so you will describe like login test cases. Okay, and over here you can use both things, guys. If you want to use single quotes, well and good. If you want to use double quote, that is also fine. After that, please put comma. Okay, and then either you can write function, guys. Okay, either you can write function. Okay, or you can write, let me show you that as well. After test scenario, guys, we will talk about it block. Okay, so it block is nothing but you can consider as, I told this as test scenario, right? This as test scenario. So you can consider it block as test cases. You can consider it as test cases. So what you need to do in it block, you will see something called as login test. Okay, so login test. So usually we have total 4 test cases, right? What are those? Like entering valid username, valid password, those type of test case. Okay, so either you can use the function keyword, guys, or either you can use this symbol which is called as callback function. Okay, both are fine, guys. Okay, so this is called as test cases. It, you can have multiple it blocks, guys. You can copy this, you can have multiple it blocks. Okay, you can have multiple it blocks over here. So you just need to copy this and you can paste it like n number of time. Okay, you can have the same description, you can change your description whatever you want. Okay, so I'm just updating this login test 1, login test 2, login test 3. This you can consider like individual test cases, guys. Okay,
So
so total,
basically so basically these 4 or 5 test cases, they always have to begin with the it thing only, is it?
yes, yes, you need to write, you need to start with it block only.
Okay,
You
and
cannot
this
write
callback.
anything to
uh,
describe. Yeah, go
okay,
ahead
okay.
please.
And the callback function which you just mentioned, right? The close brackets and that. So can you that is the one more mandatory thing, right? Means after it, means this is kind of a syntax for this. Actually, I am not into an automation
Yeah,
person, so that
so
is why I'm
either you,
asking.
yeah, either you can use like this whole thing function with a two round bracket. Okay,
Hmm.
or
Okay.
you can use this two round bracket equal to greater than. Okay, so both are playing the same role. Okay, even I copy this and put it instead of function, that is also fine, guys. Okay, and over here if I write function word, that is also fine.
Okay.
Okay, is it clear everyone? Perfect. So I'll just have one simple this thing. I will not go into, let's say, commands today. Okay, I'm just printing in output console text case 1 executed. Okay, if you want you can put semicolon, if you don't want you can skip it, guys. Semicolon is optional. Okay, I'm writing cy.log. So cy.log is something like how we have system.out.println in Selenium, right? Same is cy.log. It will show in the output console. Okay. So we have test case 3 executed and the last one is test case 4 executed. So we have two command basically. So one is console.log, guys. Okay, don't get confused between both. Okay, console.log will show the messages in console area of the browser, and cy.log will show the messages into your Cypress runner. Okay, I'll just write one this thing. Okay, this message I'll just write execute. Okay, so that you can distinguish both the message. This message will be visible into your console area, and this will be visible into your actual test case Cypress runner. So guys, what I do is over here, as soon as I press Control S, guys, okay, what Cypress is recommending, you need to kind of go to your folder structure again and check where is your basic test. Inside that you will see a few seconds ago. Okay, because I just updated this. Now if I click on this, all test cases got passed and it is printing the values also like the log, right? And if you want to see the message which I have written with execute, what you need to do, you need to do right click over here. Okay, and click on inspect, open the console area, guys. Okay, in console area you will see the message. Okay, so this message is coming from console.log and this message is coming from cy.log. So I hope everyone are clear. And as soon as I do any modification over here, right, as soon as I do any modification over here, okay, and if I press Control S, automatically my test case re-execute again. Okay, as soon as I press Control S, it will re-execute. Okay, that's what I was saying. If you keep on adding this thing code and press Control S multiple time, it will kind of execute. So here you can see 351, 335, right? If I press one more time, 3313. So it is triggering your test case again and again. Okay, that's what I was mentioning. If user is saving hundreds time, then 100 time your test case is getting executed. Okay, so usually we avoid that behavior to obviously save the memory. Okay, we will talk about that later on. But till here,
So
anybody has any query? Yeah.
So what is the difference between cy.log and console.log?
So console.log messages will be displayed in the console area of the browser. In browser, when you do right click and inspect, right, you have console. Okay. So you see this test case one execute hello. So this message is coming from what? This message is coming from console.log. And cy.log message will be shown over here. Cypress related log messages will be shown over here.
Means in case if something goes wrong, like for example if the test case fails, then will I means will this show here in console.log, or whether it will show in the cy, how it will show, like?
In this area. In this area. It will show in this area. It will not show in console. Okay, so basically both are the way of like basically whenever we are debugging the test case, right? What we do, we add the log messages actually, right? So what you will do, wherever you think your test case is getting failed, right, you will add some like long messages so that you can execute and check at what step it is failing, right? That's the whole purpose of logging, guys. Okay, what is this log basically useful for? You can understand where my test case is getting failed. That's the whole purpose, right? So we will talk about that in the upcoming sessions, guys. Everyone are clear, guys? Anybody has any doubts, query, questions? Okay, so I hope everyone are clear with the folder structure, everyone understood the installation process, everyone are clear with the commands which we have done. Okay, and if you got any queries, doubt, questions, feel free to ask your doubts. I'll share this in the group also. I'll share first of all in the chat window so that whoever wants, let's say, stuck in the installation process can refer this, guys. Okay, let me sh- share it over the chat window first. Okay, and if required, I'll share this in the group also. Okay, once the group is this thing formed.
Hello.
So just to, yeah, go ahead, Atish.
Yes, I have one doubt regarding our syllabus. So whole syllabus will covered within 45 days? Means
Yes,
whatever mentioned all these points in syllabus.
it is not 45 days actually. It is 2 hour per day actually, right? Weekend session.
Okay.
So you can consider 4 hours per week. Okay. So per month it is coming out to be 16 hours. Correct? So you can
Yes.
consider 2 months.
Okay.
2 months.